Hi, everybody, and I'm just gonna give myself a minute to be here because I am having this is the worst Mercury retrograde ever. Like, I go on live and my my entire internet goes down. So I don't know what's going on, but I am, just so you know, going forward, I am gonna get I'm definitely gonna buy a, what do you call it? The thing where you plug into the thing in the thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's not Wi-Fi, it's plugged in. So there we go. Hey, I just want to take a moment and say hi to everybody. This has been like a little bit of a Mercury retrograde, chasing my tail around for 5 minutes to try and get stuff done. Um, oh, I know. Let's see. Let's see. I want to just want to open this, expand this a little so I can just be here with you all. I just want to welcome everybody and just say hi. Hi, Angelina. Good to see you. Rosemary, Trish, Laura. Yay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, Jessica, thank you. I'm glad you're here. Jessica Salas, I'm so glad you're here. She's like one of my mods, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to go on. And I didn't tell anybody, of course. So now people know. I just wanted to come on because as some of you know, I did a face reading broadcast yesterday. Actually, it went up today with my friend Lara. And just so you all know, she does not know anything about the Watts case except what I told her. So I just want to say that because people are coming on and going, how could she not know? She doesn't know. All right. And so there you have it. I wanted to really just kind of center in a little bit with all of you and validate why this is not over yet. Because I was thinking about it, because people are coming on, and I think some of you, I don't know how many of you saw, there was a woman who came on, and I pinned it to the top of the feed because it's very important with why this case is not over yet. And I pinned her comment to the top of the feed, and it was basically like, it started out with, I do not understand, which is a great comment, by the way. I love when people say, I don't understand. Can you clarify? Amen, right? But then that's where it turned. Because then it went on to say, what's wrong with you people? This is just gossip and this thing is over and, got to put it to bed and there's something wrong with this. And she just went on shaming and blaming. I'm judging. And at the end, she just basically said, I don't even see why you did this. And basically I said, the thing that gets me about something like that is that it's not so much why would you say that? It's more along the lines of what would you hope to accomplish? So when we say things, and this is something that really came forward to me, and it was coming up last night, it was coming up today. What she stated is the idea of thinking that if you bully me enough, or if you just try to overpower me or shame me, you can make something go away that you don't want to hear. Rather than say, I'm curious. Why would you think that way? Why is this not over for you? Why is it still on your mind? And I think that, and I've become friendly with, some of you know, Live Abuse Free, Zoe. She is fantastic. And she and I are going to do something together. We've been kind of communicating. And she just went, oh my gosh, that was the best answer. And basically what I talked about, and I'm hoping that I don't destroy the vibes or whatever here, but I wanted to just share because to be honest with all of you, I really feel like, when I post something like that, it's not so much to say this person's doing something wrong. It's more to say, hey, let's look at a constructive way of us, how can we look at this better for all of us, right? How can we get something out of this or this comment that we can grow from? And so my comment, and I just want to read it to you because it ties into what we're doing here. And I'm going to, she basically, if you go on to the face reading video that was posted today with my friend Lara, this gal posted at the top, and she said, I don't understand the need to keep such a negative thing stirred up. It happened almost a year ago, and so many people just love gossip, junk, and murder stuff. You're doing nothing productive with this. What's done is done, and he's in prison forever. Garbage in equals garbage out. Let it go. Figure out a new way for relevance, attention, and views. And I think that if we go back to what I've been saying, everybody, how we relate to the issue is the issue. Her statement is really indicative of changing things in the world. I want to share this with you because I wrote this and I wrote something else as well, but I said, your first 3 words say it best. I don't understand. I agree that you don't. That is truthful and could open up a conversation, an inquiry. The remainder of your post turned into shaming and judgment of that which you don't understand. If you wish to understand, there are those of us, and I'm including all of you, who can share our perspective. It does appear, though, that you are not interested in understanding. Rather, we should understand you as you are attempting to own the superior position, and that has left me wondering, what would you hope to accomplish? And when I look at that, stop, Owen, we're talking here. He's just, whenever I get on. And this was the other part I put. I thought Chanel Charlotte commented, she made a great comment, and I wrote in something she stated, ironically, my sense is that the person spreading the negative energy thinks that everyone else is doing it. So in other words, the woman who posted that thinks that everybody else is being negative. In essence, they don't know how to simply not understand. They want to fix it by trying to suppress it. And I'm going to repeat this. Ironically, my sense is that the person spreading the negative energy thinks that everyone else is doing it. In essence, they don't know how to simply not understand. They want to fix it by trying to suppress it. And we can never do that, right? It's the old, and our parents said that to us, right? Our grandparents, 2 wrongs don't make a right. It's like, so we get that. And then, of course, Live Abuse Free. She wrote, wow, Tori, I love this reply. And I just love her. So you all know who she is. But I think the thing, hey, Kim Smith, good to see you. And I think the thing that I want to say about this in this conversation is, you see, this is what this channel is about. I'm getting truth bumps as I say this to you because the undercurrent is, and by the way, you've got to read the responses to this woman. It's pinned at the top, because I want to really acknowledge everybody on this channel for so fantastically taking not just the high road, but really getting the way we communicate with each other, in that if you don't understand, don't bully. Someone said, it was really great, forgive me because I'm not going to read it again, but someone else said, I really understand. What I don't understand is why you're watching this video and commenting if you don't want to be here. And I think it's the old cliche of like, well, why should you have it if I can't? And I think that the idea that we are not quite, Jessica, you're such a sweetie. Thanks for the super chat. Totally appreciate it. Really, really appreciate that. The thing I want to say is that, hold on one second. The Betcher 6. Thank you, sweet pea. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the super chat. I also, by the way, I've been in touch with, I don't know if you know Duty Ron, but he's a police officer, retired police officer in New York, and I would love to do a video with him as well. So Live Abuse Free, she and I are definitely going to do something. We're going to talk about some stuff from our different points of view, and then I'd like to do something with Duty Ron as well. So just so you know, because these guys are really great, and I feel it's really important to have a congruent message. Ooh, truth bombs. Yeah. I think it's really important for us to have this congruent message and understand, especially the reason I went off Facebook, the reason I'm not on it as much is because of all of the hate, and that people cannot tolerate their own emotions. So let's talk about why Shanann's legacy it's not over yet. And why this woman, oh, I'm getting truth bumps again. Why this woman, and I sat up last night and I got it. I was like, whoa, I got to tell everybody. It's so funny because people are like making these comments. You're so obsessed with this case. I'm like, I'm obsessed with something I don't know yet. Does that make sense? Like there's something, and here's the thing. I'm going to leave some of this, like some of the like, you know, the juicy stuff to some of the experts. But one thing I want to say about this, and I think this is kind of, I just jumped on for a chat about this, is that Shanann is leaving us a legacy. And for those people who think these conversations are about the case, they're missing the whole point. And honestly, truth bumps, everybody, that's the sad part. Don't you agree? See, those of us who are getting the life she gave to us is not going away. So sometimes it's really hard to stop, but like we want to like go, oh, it's about the crime, and all these people are like, let this family, you know, rest in peace. Well, you know what? They have a legacy as well. And so this isn't about resting in peace. Shanann wants us to live in life. I mean, and I'm not doing a reading. Oh, hi, Gavin, he always comes up when we're talking. You know, I really think that this is the thing about what's so inspiring about Shanann. And, you know, I know that she was buried as she was born, a Rzucek, and I know she died as a Watts. And I want to say, though, that it is the life and legacy of love that this family has given us. And, you know, and I want to just say that we need to, Gavin, you're standing on me. All right, I'll just kind of do this then. He's like, what? He's just all like, what? You don't like when I lean on you now, huh? See, this is the thing that we want to get. When people say, oh, you're still on that, or it's not over, it's like we are past what you think we're on. What I'm trying to say is, you know how people are going, oh, you're just so negative. And it's like, no, we're past that and you're still in the negative. Like you have not gotten yet the fact that, Gavin, you're still in the show here, bud. Okay, big chunky whippet moving through. He sees Scory's outside. But the thing is that the reason this is not over for us is because every day we are embracing the life Shanann left us. And I'm getting truth bombs, boom, 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 boom. And I'm saying this to you because, you know, I really want to say to people, like, you are so not getting what we are doing here. Like, we are about to shift and go past just the conversation around murder. And I don't mean that to minimize it at all. Please don't take it that way. But it's not just the gory details. It's how many of you, seriously, like I can't tell you how many people have written me and written me privately even. I've gotten tons of things that people have said, wow, you know, because she lived, I get out of bed now. There are people who have written me saying that they have not been able to get out of bed. They lost a loved one. They're so depressed. And they're saying, you know, I'm getting out of bed because Shanann lived. And I thought, yeah. And I think we can't let that go. When we find something that gives us an opportunity inside ourselves to be better, then we want to be around that. We've been so long, like really kind of, I want to say addicted, you know, to what's wrong in the world that we've forgotten what's right. And the price was Shanann dying. And I don't mean to say Bella, and I'm not, you know, forgetting Bella, Celeste, and Nico. I'm saying that, you see, this is the thing that we have to get. And so I'm going to be honest with all of you when I say this. I see someone like diss Shanann and they're hide from channel. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your neg self. And I mean, you know, I used to have a bestie, my friend Kim. If I can get her to get on with me, you guys would laugh. She's hysterical. But anyway, she's a little shy, so I don't think so. But she used to always go, don't neg on me. Don't be negative. And I'd be like, okay. And I think that's true. It's like, don't take the thunder out of someone's, thing. So here's what I want to say to you. One of the women in my Patreon group, and I'm going to start, just so you all know, in Patreon, I think I'm going to try to do like once a month readings. I'll pull cards for people and kind of show you how that intuitive thing works. And I think that will be just for the Patreon folks, because I think some people are like, oh, I don't want to mix that up. So a couple things that I want to say is, and I get so excited when I'm talking to all of you, because I go, and sometimes, especially when I'm in an intuitive train of thought, it's like the internet, it goes out, and I'm like, what was I thinking? So that train kind of derails itself. So it's not so much that I'm not on point. It's like, what was I talking about? And the thing that we have to remember, and this is what I was going to say. So one of the women in my Patreon group messaged me, and she mentioned a crime that I've been I actually knew about. It was the murder of Fabio, and forgive me, he was murdered, not the model. He was a hairdresser 2 years ago in LA, and I remember that case. And it turned out his wife Monica and this other guy, this guy she was having an affair with, who was he looked creepy as far as I'm concerned, creepy. Murdered Fabio. And the reason I'm sharing about this story, because I do want to cover this case, and I think the thing about this case that gets me, and the same thing is getting me around Shanann and other things, is the thing that bothers me most is we are not building ourselves up enough in the world. We immediately want to kill a light, dull it out, who do you think you are? And, I don't know about you, but remember when we were little, our parents, because thinking they were helping us, would go, stop being a show off. And it's like, okay, what do you want me to do? Sit in the corner and think about myself? It's like, so the point I'm making is that, Fabio was like Shanann, very, very bright light, very, very much alive. And I think that the tragedy of some of these deaths, and I can only say this when I say the reason some crimes stand out to us is when we see a very bright light destroyed by what I want to say a dark side, or I'm sorry, I get itchy nose every time I'm on this freaking thing. I don't know what it is. I think it's just, it's how I am when I do readings as well. When I'm doing intuitive work, my nose gets itchy, or I yawn a lot. Right, Gavin? I'll show you what Gavin thinks. Gavin's right there. Look. What do you think, Gav? You just want to chill out? All right. Everybody's just chilling out. See? He's like, I'm chilling. Y'all can do what you want. But I think if we look at the crime of Fabio's murder, Chanel Charlotte, I spoke about you. I just spoke about you. Jennifer B said, do you believe in reincarnation? I do, actually. I do think, but I have I go along more with the Edgar Cayce idea of reincarnation, which is you're reincarnated at least a year past. And I have an entire theory as well. I'm glad you asked that. I have an entire theory about reincarnation in terms of children that are meant to come to certain parents. And so I have found that, ironically, I will see that a child will be adopted into a family, and then we find out that child had the same birthday as, a child that passed, or, there are odd things that I've seen happen. So, all I can say is this, guys, and this is really how I feel. A lot of people say that's woo and dark, and you know what? I think it's magical. I think it's Harry Potter. I think it's wonderful. I think the ability to feel connected to one another is the most wonderful feeling we can have. And no matter how you get it, if it is, and I'm talking about an uplifting feeling. I'm not talking about feeling really depressed or anything like that. I'm talking about coming together. And I think that's key. Kojak Bailey, hi doll, good to see you. Thanks for the super chat. I just want to tell you, it's so nice because it makes such a difference, because honestly, it does take a lot of time to do this work. And I know it seems like, oh, she's just, putting this stuff up, but man, it is. And answering, just so as a reminder, when you comment I'm the one putting the hearts up. I put the hearts up. I respond to you all because I feel that you have taken your precious time and come here and paid attention to not just me, but your own journey and other people's journey. And I feel that you deserve that level of acknowledgement. And I think that's the biggest thing we are missing in this world is we're so quick to call somebody a shithead. All right. I said that. We're so quick to call people names rather than say, I don't understand what's going on, Oh, Brummyberg, good to see you. I didn't know you're from the UK. You're such a beautiful person, both inside and out. Please don't ever change or stop what you're doing. You truly rock. I'm rocking it. I didn't realize I wore the same color as my new Chakra Tarot deck. I had no idea I was doing that. And by the way, I just have to tell you, I was talking to a friend of mine about this yesterday. I said, I don't read predictive stuff. I don't say, oh, this is going to happen, because I think you already know. I think when people come to me for an intuitive coaching, they're really just wanting validation of what's going on in their life, or they want to figure out how to get themselves back on track to where they want to be. So I think it's really important that I say that, because I just think it's very invasive. And I when people come to me and they go, does he love me? I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to read him. That's just not where I'm going to go, because it'll keep you addicted. And I don't like that kind of reading any more than I like the kind of thing when, I know, that's my dinner. I was like, I'm only going to be on for 5 minutes. So I think what I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of us that are really every day getting strength from Shanann. And I have to tell you, it's the same thing. And I'm going to go back to what I was saying about Fabio. When you have a very bright light, what happens sometimes in a relationship, and we must recognize this, everybody. You can call it whatever term you want. You can call it bipolar. You can call it Leo. I don't care what you call it. You can call it Fred. But here's the thing, whether you call it bipolar, narcissist, whatever, you must see that when you are a bright light and your partner is getting pulled under the tide with it, they are going to retaliate. There's going to be a retaliation. A relationship cannot be led by one person who's better than the other. They always fall apart like that. Hold on, thank you, Crash 1969 one. Thank you, Crash. I love saying that stuff, when it's like you have a name like Crash, or, thank you. And I love that you're here. I'm just going to turn off my dinner, guys, or it's going to burn. But I'm right here. I'm going to let Gavin will probably stand up and follow me, so he might. I just need to stop this, or it's going to be. Okay, we get it. There we go. Oh, there it is. Okay, just so y'all know, I cook so infrequently, I don't really know how to turn on and off my oven. And meanwhile, I've got like a super expensive oven. Don't even ask. It's like the craziest thing. That's my egos. So, all right. Let's see. Can you look about Shanann and Frankie by Deb? Oh, thank you. Yeah, Deb. Let's get rid of that. I'm just going to go up here. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah. So this is what they do, right? I'm going to stop doing that. Okay. Thank you, Joe Voss. Hi, Amor Mia. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm going to be in the UK. Anybody live in the UK? Allison, you're in London. I'm going to be in London. I've contacted the YouTube, what do they call it? The YouTube place or studio or whatever. And I'm going to see if I can do an event in London when I'm there in May. I'm also going to contact New York and see if I can do one in New York. And I am going to, where else am I going to be? I'm going to be in Los Angeles in July. Oh my gosh, guys, y'all are this is crazy. Itchy. Okay. So, Brummy, you're in London. Yay. Oh, Scotland, Lisa Donald. Okay. My friend Lara is from Scotland, Whiplash. Yes, she is. Thank you. Is it Michelle? Well, that's pretty. What a nice name. Thanks, Anna. Epitome, how cute. Oh, Dana, you're in Los Angeles. Cool. Let's see. Barbara Fisher said, we are connected to Shanann because it could have been us. I do agree. When you look at it that way, it is, And I'm going to say something also about Kaylee Anthony, because a lot of people ask me about Casey Anthony and Kaylee Anthony. Casey Anthony is like O.J. Simpson to me. They're very, very similar energetically. They are incredibly immature people that cannot function without being the center of attention. And if anyone gets something that they feel entitled to, in other words, they have to have that spotlight on, they will try to destroy it. Now, there's, I'm sure that therapists I'm so sorry, you guys. I don't know what's going on with my nose. I'm like, there's going to be somebody who says a comment about it. But anyway, they're very immature people. And Casey Anthony is one of those people. She really has no ability to function in the real world, nor does OJ. Now, if you look at both of these people, you can recognize why that crime is not as, and don't take this the wrong way, because I know it affects the families, and I mean no disrespect, but I think it really is that when we have a victim like Shanann and Bella and Cece, when we have these kinds of victims, we really are reeling because they are teaching us. See, while I agree that it could have been any of us, I think at the same time, Shanann was having a sense of it. Now, I want to share this with you because I think it matters in terms of us looking at this case. I think Shanann knew what was going on. I think Shanann, listen, and you know this, how many of you have been with a partner, guy, girl, whatever, where, and I've had this happen. I was dating a guy, and this is years ago now, and back when I dated, I was dating a guy, and he was a veterinarian, and I really had a crush, and I liked him, and he liked me, we got along. And one day, he just stopped calling. And I left him a message. I said, "Are you okay?" Never heard back. And I went, "He's over this. He's just over this." And my friends were like, "Why don't you call him? Why don't you find out?" I said, "Because he's broken up with me." And it was like 5 days. And they were like, "How do you know that?" I'm like, "Because I feel it. Like he's not behaving like someone who's interested." And I remember a friend of mine saying, "Well, you need to call. And finally I was like, "Okay, I'll call him," And I called him and I said, "How are you?" And he said, "Oh, fine." And I was like, I said, "Listen, I've got a couple things of yours. I think you'll want them back. Why don't you come by and get them?" I said, "Okay." So he came by to get his things, and it was just like a couple things he'd left there. It wasn't underwear. It was more like, I don't know. He brought over a game or a couple things, maybe, dishware or whatever. And he came by to get it. And I gave it to him, and he said, "Yeah, I just wanted to let you know." I said, There's no need to tell me. Whatever it is, it just isn't vibing for you." He said, "Yeah, we just don't have a lot in common." I said, "It's totally cool." And when he left, I learned the lesson. Of when I feel someone's not in the room with me, don't try to force them in. I think we've all done this. We've also spent a lot of time trying to keep people in the room with us that don't want to be in the room with us. You know what I mean? Taking emotional hostages. Now, I want to say, in Shanann's case, completely different. This is her husband. For him to shut her down, this was completely nutty, cuckoo, all right? If anything, and you and I both know that he should have, which he didn't have the capacity to do, say, "Listen, I've met someone else, and I'm really embarrassed, and I don't know what to do, and I'm torn." And you know what the worst part about this in some ways is? Shanann would have said, "Fine, I'm leaving you." And here's the thing. She would have been okay. He did not want her to be okay without him. Now, if we really look at it that way, if we really get it that way, we completely understand, okay, why he had to snuff that light out. Texas Lassie, you are so good. Thank you for all you bring to our lives. You are appreciated, and you are too. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. And just as a reminder, everybody, if you're liking what you hear, if you like what I do, go ahead and, poor Sonia, I know you didn't mean it, but she said selfish bastard. I agree, but that's one of the bastard is one of the, no words, but I just want to acknowledge you and say, yes, you did say that. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, because it actually helps in ranking. So when you go on a channel and you like someone's videos, or it's just something to kind of remember. And also subscribe, because you know what? A lot of times I don't tell people I'm doing this. So only my subscribers are going to actually catch this, because when I go live, sometimes I do it like 10 minutes before, and it gets thrown onto your notification. So if you're around, you'll go, oh, I'm here, let me watch it. So a lot of times I do it that way, because I just find that then it's people that are kind of vibing with the work we're doing and all that kind of stuff. So what I wanted to say, and part of the big thing I want to say about Shanann and of course her children, you know, I can't, I'm going to be honest with all of you when I say this, I can't stop that feeling that I just think the children were a huge mistake, meaning they weren't meant to be killed. And I energetically, I really don't feel it was any of their time. But let me go back to Shanann. Shanann was in a situation where she knew he was pulling away. She knew what was going on, but it's her husband. She's pregnant. This is such a dumb woman. She was like, what? And, you know, I still believe, I have to be honest with you, I do. Okay, let me language it. I just rewound what I said. Let me take this back. Okay, that was a rewind. I still believe that he didn't, there was a lot more, how can I say, premeditation to this than he admits. And there was something else that came to me last night when I was sitting up in bed, and I thought, this is interesting. Remember the dogs alerted in the basement? They alerted to, you know, scent in the basement. They were feeling something. What I couldn't help but wonder is if he chased Bella. You know, remember they had seen the little feet coming out to the car, and I wonder if Bella was killed in the house, but maybe not in her bed. Because that was something that hit me of like, what if she was killed in the basement? Or, you know what I mean? Like, because the dogs had alerted down there. So when I say that to you, and the reason I'm sharing it is not to rehash the whole thing, but to say, I don't believe Chris Watts. I do not trust him. I do not think he's right in the brain. I don't know what's wrong with him. And if I try to tell you, it's going to be like completely, you know, people are going to go crazy. But I really feel that the case is not over in the sense that Shanann will not die. It's like Fabio. He will not die. There are certain people that live forever in our hearts. And honestly, she's one of them. And the babies, you know, I keep feeling right here. Like I keep feeling right here. I keep feeling Bella. I can't help it. It's like so, I'm getting truth bumps again. You know, when I feel these children, it's like, I just feel that they're here. I've got to be upfront with you guys, and I know I can say this to you, is that I really feel that they're here. Like I can't imagine that you can kill them. See, you can't kill life. Like you can't kill that chi, that energy, that thing that she's giving. It's almost like, for lack of a better way of putting it, they are all spiritual organ donors, in the sense that their deaths are giving so many people life, because we are reminded how important their existence was. And the fact that even with lupus, Cece had how many surgeries on her neck because her esophagus was closed. I mean, these children had issues, you know, and they were so full of life. And when we look at how much life they had, it's almost like I'm watching them give life to people that have been depressed for a long time, that can't seem to move. And so what I want to say is not as a shame thing. It's not as, well, you know, you really need to get your ass out of bed. It's not like that. It's like, if you need to be in bed, be in bed, you know. But what I'm saying is that there is something very inspirational, that because they lived, we have a chance to live big. And I want to really remind all of you, if you feel at any moment you're in a shadow because of someone else, move out into your own sunshine. And I think that's really the key. When we're healthy enough, Owen's like, he wants to come up and he's just so heavy, I can't lift. Do you want to come up here? If you can come up and share with everybody. Come. And he's like, I don't want to. So anyway, what I wanted to say to all of you is that I want to really start remembering, just, remembering who we are, and remembering that by nature, everyone, you're a good person. You don't get up in the morning to be a snarkosaurus. We have been trained to be that way by people who attack us for having thoughts that differ. And I think we've got to just really, it's almost like, being able to say to somebody, and I said this to someone the other day, I said, listen, you know what? You and I are not going to agree on this. It's just not going to happen. However, I'm really interested to hear what you have to say about it. And they shared their point of view, and I shared mine, and we actually found some interesting similarities. And that's what I'm noticing more and more. And I want to really give a shout out to all of you guys who are on this channel, who are subscribing, who are making it as great as it is, because, we're only as great as the people we associate with. And remember, you are the sum total of the five people closest to you. And so when we look at the people who are closest to Shanann, the truth is that Chris Watts wasn't one of them. Think about it. Really think about this. The people closest to her were her family of origin, her children, Nicole Atkinson. There are people who are trying to build their life up. And that's where Shanann was. And the truth is that Chris was just incapable of being in that place. So I just want to say that if you're liking the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. And more importantly, share this information with people. Let people know our conversations. Tell them what you're learning. Really, the most important thing about this kind of conversation is that you're part of it and you matter. This isn't about me like going, oh, this is, and some people are like, well, that person's opinion is just different. No, you know what? I'm going to stop and say, when you tell someone they're a S-head or they're a loser or that they need to grow up, you're probably not voicing an opinion. You're really shaming and blaming. And I'm not going to acknowledge that. It's kind of like if you say to me, I really don't know. I don't know why people keep talking about this. Can you share with me why? Perfectly fine. I'm open to it. But when people come into, it's kind of like coming into a lecture hall and everybody's talking about, I don't know, I'm going to make this up, anatomy, and you walk in thinking you're in in an English class. It's like coming in and going, what's going on in here is a little bit different than, this is a ridiculous, I wouldn't want to be part of this conversation. Because you see, this is what's been happening all across our world, is that if you don't agree with me and the way I am in this moment, you don't count. And what I'm trying to say is, I want to know what you're thinking. And I think that's the lesson I'm getting from Shanann Watts, is that, and I'm going to call her Watts, I'm sorry, Rzucek, it slips, What we're learning from Shanann and the girls is that there is a magic. There's a magic in all of us. And true light never dies. And I really believe that. I really see it. And I think that I am so stoked about getting to be here with you guys. I really am, because every time I get to come on and be with you, it's an entirely new thing. Luna, and I'm just going to acknowledge that, Luna Bell, thank you. We should all be able to agree to disagree reasonably. I do think that's true. And I think the more we can say that, and here's the key to this. How we relate to the issue is the issue. So here's the thing that matters in this conversation, is that the woman who said, I don't understand what's wrong with all you people, la, 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 how she's relating is the issue. It's not the issue she thinks it is. In other words, she's relating with anger, blame, shame, upset. So she wants everyone else to change so she feels okay. Instead of saying, because you see, that's the issue. She wants the world to change for her. Instead of recognizing that I am going to function in a world that may not be perfect and people may not see things my way, but we can kind of like accept. That's why I keep saying to people, take what you like and leave the rest. You know, it's like, and here's the thing. I'm sure if you go out tomorrow and you find 5 positive things to say, it's going to begin to add up. And make sure you thank the men and women who are doing service in our country and say thank you for your service. Thank you for your selfless service. Doctors, nurses, ER people, EMTs, soldiers, people that every day put their life on the line for you, they deserve thanks. And Shanann and her children are a constant reminder of the possibility of being able to live no matter what handicap you have, no matter how bad it gets, somebody has it worse than you. And I'm going to tell you something else. Somebody is looking up to you right now. Somebody thinks what you have is remarkable. And I find that every time I look on this feed and I read what you guys have to say, I'm like, wow, I'm so inspired, because inevitably there's someone who comes on and goes, la, 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 la. And another person goes, oh, okay, yeah. And da, 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 da. And the la, la, la person goes, oh, yeah, that's what I mean. I guess we can agree to disagree. That's what it's about. It's about lowering the temperature, lowering that so that we can recognize that we just want to have some fun and live a good life and love some people and make sure we've left a legacy. But here's the key. We cannot leave a legacy until we recognize what has been left for us, which is why this case is not quite over yet, because we don't understand enough. And the truth of it is that I am seeing that this new level of killer is a killer that has to take the light out. They can't stand the light because in their world, they never got light. And you can call it what you want. You can call it narcissism. You can call it whatever you want. But when we see it like that, anyone can see light, right? You can kind of look at somebody and go, wow, that person has a lot of light around them. There's something positive, right? There's something that says to me, I want to listen to that person, or I want to sit in the room with them. I want to be around that person for whatever reason. And when you have that feeling, that's light. That something in you is touching something in me. That's magical. Something about you is helping me see a better part of me. And that's what no one can take away from Shanann, Bella, Cece. They can't take it away from them because there's a light in them that is everlasting. And by the way, if you spot it, you got it. Meaning, if you see it in someone else, you have it in you. And for some of us, we just forgot that we had it. And we just need to be reminded. We just need to be reminded who we are every moment, every day, and be reminded of that. And that's why it's an ongoing process. Shanann had to keep talking about Thrive and keep talking about who she was and what she was doing and keep sharing with others, because you see, not only was that part of her MLM, but was also part of how she kept herself in the belief of it. And I want to just say that I think we can make a difference. It only takes one person. It only takes one person to say, I understand that you don't understand something. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. And I'm seeing this a lot, for those of you not in America, I'm seeing it a lot here where people go, that's evil. And it's like, well, like people who are like, spiritual people and going, blessings, da, 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 da. That guy's an idiot. And it's like, well, I'm sorry, Danger Will Robinson, what am I missing here? What part of this is like not connected? Because I'm going to share with you, light is light. If you tell me that you are of a light, whatever that is, if it's Jesus, if it's higher power, if it's a white light, if it's your inner light, if you tell me you're of that, and then you say something mean to someone else, you're probably forgetting your own light, and you're forgetting the light that you say exists. And so we have to constantly work at bringing that back. And whatever that means to you, for some it means reading the Bible, for some it means reading cards. And I am not going to judge either one. And I don't think anybody's wrong for their point of view. I think the thing is that just because I don't have the same faith as, say, a Muslim person doesn't mean their faith is wrong. It just means it's different. And I think that we need to get to a place together, right, that we understand together. And I'm not saying, and that's another thing. My father was Jewish. He didn't believe in the afterlife. Of course, he keeps talking to me anyway, but I think it's kind of like he's amazed that it exists. But, even Dr. Phil said, I believe that there is something there. And I think that I personally would rather live in the magic than live in the doubt. And so for those who, have to come on and be angry and mean, it really comes down to, when we look at them, we have to say, oh, they just don't understand. They don't understand that they have light. So they have to come with a hose and try to spray your light out. So, it's kind of like, dude, put the hose away. All right. Cause don't get my hair wet. All right. Cause then it'll frizz. I don't want that to happen. I'm just going to check in with you all for a minute and say, let's see. Texas Lassie, Blondie, do you have a safe person and a safe place? Thank you for asking that. And I want to, because I haven't been looking at the questions. The Gypsy Rose case is fascinating. I'll take a look at that. Yeah, and that's the thing too. If you don't feel safe, if there, if you're feeling, and if you feel unsafe in your world, if there is something that is dangerous, please, 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 somebody said to me years ago, because I was very, very down, and listen, it's the cliche, and you've heard this said before. This is not something original I'm saying, but religion is for people who are afraid of going to hell, and spirituality is for people who've been there. And I kind of feel like I've had hell on earth in some ways. But I don't live in it anymore. It goes back to the psalm about, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. It's like, but don't pitch a tent there. Either God is or God isn't, and you keep moving. And just because I don't sit here and quote scripture, that doesn't mean that I in any way minimize people that do. It's just that I want us all to accept that we all have our own path, and that my way may not be the best way for you. And in fact, it probably isn't, because you have your own answers and what to do. And that's the thing I find myself saying a lot when I do readings or coaching with people. It's like, what is it that I can do to, and I said something to this woman the other day. I was doing a reading and she said, well, I just want to know, what's going to happen. I said, well, what would you like? Because everything I said, she was kind of like, I said, well, tell me about this or what have you. She was like, well, that's not going to help me. I said, okay, let me ask you a different question. What is it that you want to walk away from in our conversation? And she said, well, I want to feel uplifted. I said, okay. And what is it going to take energetically for you to experience that? She told me. And I said, okay, well, let's work with that. Let's energetically look at where things may, and that's where my intuition comes in too. I work with people on, okay, so this is what I'm seeing. Is that accurate for you? Because it may not be. I think it's really important that we stay in inquiry. And it's really funny, when I was working on one of my books, and by the way, I have a book coming out in November from St. Martin's. It's called Start Here, the Chakras. And I have to tell you, it is a really good book. It's available on pre-order now on Amazon, but I really encourage you to get that book. It's a simple, small book, and it really explains the energy centers in us and how we tap into them to feel peace. And I'm going to tell you, I think that is the ultimate goal. And whether it's found through the Bible, through prayer, through reading cards, whatever your method is, provided it's not hurting others. It's like, do no harm, that's the thing. So I just want to say, I really don't have that kind of cut and dry, this is the way you must be. I think that it's most important that we're kind to each other. If there's nothing I can say, it's being kind to each other. So if you criticize someone in the name of God, I don't think you are really standing with the white light energy, and that's where I would rather live. Um, let's see. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, Angelina, I believe in kindness too. Kindness without, what is it? Honesty with, what is it? Honesty without kindness is cruelty, you know? And we don't need to be cruel to each other. Just say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean. Um Wow, 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 wow. Dory Wilson, I left an abusive marriage of 18 years recently, 10 months no contact. I'm safe, but not necessarily free. I'm glad you're saying that, Dory, because anytime we're with somebody that makes us shudder, you know what I mean? Makes us shudder, that does rub off on us. And it takes a while for us to thaw. So good for you that you're out of it. The question I would say, and I would ask is, and let me relanguage this. I would make sure and validate for you the need to build up a support team around you. I'm assuming you're already doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you seem smart enough to post it here, so I'm assuming you do it. But you're bringing up a great point of, just because we've left a bad situation doesn't mean we're out of it. In other words, recognizing that we're still like affected. We still have that PTSD. Yes, I'm going to use a technical term, because we still have that fear of, oh my gosh, it's right there. So anyway, I really want to just say, I so enjoy all of you, and so love all of you on this channel, and I've really enjoyed it. I want to remind you that my Patreon is it's patreon.com/Tori Hartman. Pretty easy to find. It's only $5. I kept it at that for now, because pretty much it's going right now. It's people on my Patreon get to preview the videos that I'm doing, so they'll see them a couple days before I put them up. If I do them in advance, which I'm going to start doing. And then also I'll be using cards, doing readings over there, showing you some tips and ideas around living intuitively. That is what I teach. And so I'll be doing a little bit more of that focus over there, as opposed to here, where I'm doing like a lot around the cases and stuff like that. And I love it, so I'm fine. The other thing I wanted to tell you, a couple announcements. I am going to do something with Live Abuse Free. I think I mentioned that to you. She and I, Zoe and I, have like connected, and I just adore her. She is like the bomb diggity bomb. So I think we're going to have some really good juicy conversation. I'm going to, ask her some questions, and she's going to ask me, and we're going to kind of banter about this case and some other things we haven't decided yet. So I'll let you know. And I also reached out to Duty Ron. Hopefully he will be able to do a video with me as well. So I really want to bring to all of you some people that I think have different perspectives that are very interesting, that are very, very interesting, because I think the more we know, right? So there you go. And then it'll give me a chance to put on my New York accent when I talk to Duty Ron. You know what I'm saying? And what else do I need to tell you? So you can go to Patreon. Okay, and then also you're going to have a better chance of me responding to you here than on another one of my channels, just because, channel meaning Facebook or whatever, just because I respond here more, because I love YouTube. This is like my new jammy jam. What else was I going to tell you about? I am going to be doing more videos. One of the videos I want to do coming up is I want to find some charts, and I want to look at Shanann's chart specifically, and I also want to look at Chris Watts. But one of the only reason I want to look at Chris Watts is in terms of like seeing where he, where that jealousy and that light pulling comes from. So I'll be looking at that. And Lara will be back, my face reading friend. So we're probably gonna do NK, and definitely I think we might look at the Watts family as well. And good for you, Dory. I'm really proud of you for taking that stand. I'm just gonna see. Clara said the YouTube experience is so cool. Oh, I didn't know you had a physical injury. I've met loads of interesting people. Thank you, Clara. I'm glad you're here. Um, let's see. I'll tell you something. Sean said I've met a lot of nice people here, and I just want to see because I've met some really nice people here as well, and I think it's just such a great community, and I just love it. Um, I know Lara's cool, isn't she? I'm gonna go see her in Scotland. We're gonna do something. She and I want to do something in Scotland in October. She lives in this freaking manor, you guys. I mean, I'm not kidding. It looks like it's out of Harry Potter. She sent me some pictures and it's fantastic. And it's like an old inn. And she and her sweetie fixed it up. She's amazeballs. I'd like to go see her. Um, Aw, Gavin treats me good though. I gotta say that. People are nice here because thank you, because you're nice, Tori. Yeah, you know what also Jessica Coe said this. I'm nice, but I'm also firm. I'm gonna tell you all a story. Years ago, my dog had been killed. This is not a happy story. It's happy, but that's the unhappy part. I was in New Mexico with a writing partner. She and I went away to her family's estate in Pewaukee. I'll never forget that. And we were working on a script. She went on to write The Gun in Betty Lou's Handbag, bunch of movies. Carrie Bickley, she did really well. I love Carrie, she's great. Anyway, we were working on it. My dog got killed while I was away. My father didn't tell me, and I'm glad he didn't, because why? Somebody's away, why ruin their trip, right? Tell them, ruin it when they come back. So he came to the airport and picked me up, and he brought my boyfriend at the time, Bill, and Bill and my dad were like oil and water. They just did not get along. And because my father felt Bill was like too, like, he was a movie guy, so my father was like a guy, so he didn't really like Bill. But anyway, my dog had been killed, and it's a long story. My dad was walking him, the dog got hit by a car. It was really tragic. The point is that my father brought Bill with him to come pick me up at the airport. And my father was shaking while he was driving. And Bill said, I don't understand you, Alec. E-L-E-K, Alec. That's my dad's name. He said, I don't understand you. You jumped on D-Day. My father was the radio operator. And he said, you jumped on D-Day. You were in the Battle of the Bulge. You saw all this, you're this big hero. My dad hated that word. And he said, you did all this stuff and you're worried about telling your kid that her dog died. My father, and this was on the LIE, for those of you that the Long Island Expressway, my father goes over 4 lanes. Bill later told me the story. He crosses 4 lanes, barely anybody around. And he goes up. This is my dad, was a little bit of a badass, just a little bit. He drives up on the embankment like this. And Bill's like, holy crap, And my father puts the car in park and turns to him. And Bill said, I thought he was going to kill me. And he grabbed the scruff of my neck and he said, he pinned me back. And he said, let me tell you something, hotshot. The problem with you and your life is that you confuse kindness with, kindness with weakness. And Bill said that changed his whole life. In that moment, he went, oh. And Bill said, your dad let me go, put the car back in drive, and we went to the airport and met you. And he said, and I remember the two of them, and I'm so intuitive. I go, okay, who died? What happened? My father turns to Bill. At those days, took the airline ticket and said, go get her bags. And he called him Hotshot. Go get her bags, Hotshot. And then my father, come on, let's walk outside. And he told me. The point I'm making is that, yes, I am kind, but I'm also someone that will not allow someone to be unkind to you. I don't tolerate it. And the reason I don't tolerate it, and sometimes I cross a line, sometimes I say things that can be pointed or sharp or feel, ooh, ouch. And sometimes people will come on and say, I'm leaving your channel. Well, bye. I can't please everybody, right? And I'm learning that. But at the end of the day, I'm also firm. I'm not weak. And I think it's very important to say that. Just because we are kind people does not mean we are weak. And I am willing to stand up for you. And I am willing to stand up for what I know to be true. And I know for myself that Shanann gave me a legacy. Every morning I get up and I feel her positive energy. And you know what? I suffer with exhaustion. I suffer with certain things. And you know what? I get up anyway. And if I'm that freaking tired, this is my new thing. If you're that freaking tired, go to bed. Cosmic thing, right? So, I went to bed the other night at 8 o'clock, slept 16 hours. And you know what? I felt great the next day. Got up at noon, was like, okay, sometimes you just need to do that. And I was talking to Zoe from Live Abuse Free, and she had tonsillitis. I had strep throat. So we were talking about, wow, how we both got hit in this throat chakra, right? We both got hit with can't speak, because there's only so much truth you can tell people when you're getting back people who don't get it. And it can be very, you have to kind of go, okay, I need a break. And I think that's what happens is you start to go, I just need a break. But, yes, and I want to say this, I am kind. I am a kind person. And I'm also someone who's not weak. I have my father's strength in me. And I want to say that to all of you. If you followed Shanann, if you see in her what you're seeing, it's because you see it in you. And I want you to do something for me. I want you to sit down and with yourself, hold on, Owen. He's like, he just wants what he wants when he wants it. It's that he wants to play ball with me. I want you to go inside yourself. And I want you to just say, what are the 3 qualities that I so admired in Shanann? What do I see in that woman? What are the qualities I see? Because I'm going to tell you, if you see those qualities, you've got them too. You can't see what you don't have. And so it is, everyone. I just want to say it's really been a delight to get to chat with you tonight. And I want to say, yes, I see it in me. Good for you. Light, work ethic, and love. Dory, that's great. That's great. That's you. Let's see. Fiona Apple is the best. Oh yeah, she's great. Sometimes we say words we don't always mean. I see now Shannon, I'm calling Shanann. Shannon Chapman, hi honey. Some of my namaste. I got a funny namaste story for you, and then I'm gonna go. So I'm friends with, some of you know who Sark is, S-A-R-K. Do you know who she is? She's Susan Ariel Rainbow Kennedy. She's a friend of mine. She writes these fabulous, amazing books. They're all called like Juicy and Live Juicy, Naps Are Good for You. Do any of you know Sark? Okay. Okay, anyway, so Sark and I we were at a thing at one of her conferences, and we were just like having a moment, and I said, oh, I'm so annoyed. She goes, oh, reverse namaste, meaning F you. And I go, that's what I'm feeling, reverse namaste, So it was just a funny moment when you said namaste, and it is a wonderful word, so thank you. Yes, look her up. You would love her. Diva 7, I'm sure Shanann is proud of you. You're her spiritual sister. Oh, I just got truth bombs. I wish you could meet her mother, Sandy. She would love you like we all do. You know what? I love Sandy. I've got to tell you something. I'm also close to Sandy in age. And I love Sandy. I just love her. Another hairdresser, guys. So, hey, by the way, like the video, give it a thumbs up if you like it. Please subscribe. That makes all the difference, because a lot of times I just jump on and, the public doesn't know. It's just my peeps. Okay. Yeah, I thank you for that. Live Juicy. I know that's a Sark. That's a Sarkism. Catherine Wilson, you paint your nails, girl. Oh, you know what? Okay, this is check this out. This is a new CBD color. Can you see the sparkles in it? Is that crazy? It's black with white sparkles. It's like the new thing. CBD is that? No, I'm saying that's CBD, like the marijuana oil. I don't mean that. It's CD. Oh, whatever. I'll tell you guys later. Yes, please click the like button. Please subscribe. I've got so many more stories. Hey. We know. Oh, Kim Smith. Let's all send light to her. Her husband has been deployed for a year. God bless. I'm getting truth bombs. We want him to come home safe, and his entire unit safe. He's coming home in 4 days. Oh, I can't wait. God bless. I'm so glad he's coming home, Kim. And thank you for what you've sacrificed by being a military partner wife. And thank you. We don't give enough thanks to the partners of military personnel. Okay, so I know I should definitely be doing nail stuff. Owen. Okay, yes, safety for your husband, Kim. Love you guys. Let's see, the military partners, right on. No, I was crying a little. I always tear up. Strength, love, compassion. Ooh, amor, Mia. Those are great qualities for you. No, somebody said I thought CBD oil was in your nail polish. No, it's a kind of, what is it called? I can't think of the name of the polish, but it's like this fabulous, okay. I know. All right, Lara, I want to let you all know, Lara is brand spanking new to YouTube. She doesn't, I think she has like one video up. It's Lara, Lara Wells, Wells, and you'll see her fabulous red hair on YouTube, but you can also find her on Facebook, and she will be coming back, and we're going to be talking about, I was just talking to her earlier, we got into this whole thing. We're going to talk about, probably Cindy Watts and NK, about their face readings. I'm very interested in what she sees. So, all right, everyone, much love. Have a wonderful night. I'm going to go like eat my comfort food now, which is probably cold, and take Owen out, I promise. All right, everyone, be blessed. I'll see you next time.